Hello, my friends. We're going to continue talking about A Course in Miracles, my recommitment to it, my recommitment to it, um, as it honestly has been a study. At this point, I'm 59 years old, so half my life close to varying degrees of steadiness. Meaning that in 2009, I finally went through the text as well as the workbook, a year of commitment, and then largely put it aside. Although I felt the teachings continue with me, um, I wasn't quite ready to have it as a lifetime commitment. I don't know why. Uh, Maybe it just was not time uh, for me to face the ego head on that way. I was still clinging to that sense of uh, self. There was still some uh, guilt that was present, varying degrees. That's what we're going to talk about right now is guilt. And the ego has a great perspective on guilt, that guilt is simply a tool of the ego to keep us caught within that collective thought stream that we are a separate self, that we were born into sin, and that we've committed sin, and that sin is an inescapable aspect of life. We are simply sinners. The way out of sin is whatever religion we are practicing, and that when we die, only then, by the grace of God, are we forgiven, and hopefully we go to heaven. Course in Miracles takes the words of Jesus um, to its logical conclusion. When Jesus says, the kingdom of heaven is within, we literally look within for the kingdom of heaven. We're looking for it here. We're looking for it now. However, um, heaven, according to A Course in Miracles, or my interpretation of A Course in Miracles, is akin to nirvana. It's our state of mind here, and we reach it through forgiveness. We release it through the surrender of the concept of sin. And when you look at the metaphysics of A Course in Miracles, we are told that to keep exploring and discover the fact that there's no time, there's no duality, and that everything is happening at once in this one and only moment. In the Course, they call it the holy instant. And in this holy instant, what's occurring? Is there any sin right now? Have you sinned in this moment? And in what way? If you explore that, if we explore these issues, if we use a form of self-inquiry, and we keep arriving to this present moment, right now, there's no sin. If we go back, if we review our life, we see moments of behavior that didn't serve our best interests, behavior that might have hurt someone. Is it happening now? During that time, when it did happen, could you have possibly done anything different than what you did? We could always second guess and say, of course. However, if you could have, things would have been different. Things were just the way they were, and then it's over. We are back to this instant. In fact, we've never left this instant where you are guilt-free, where you are free of any sin. Keep returning to that. Keep returning to that. Keep returning to that. That's the simple process. In Buddhism, the escape from suffering is of the utmost importance. Buddha said that I teach one thing. I teach suffering and the way out of suffering. To recognize one is to recognize the other. Yoga is the same. The 8 branches of yoga is to escape suffering. It's the same with the Course in Miracles. However, we suffer because of our guilt. Guilt, all those collective thoughts of guilt are repressed. And in that repression, we project. And we project a world filled with guilt, filled with sin, filled with the error of our ways. When we give up guilt, we give up the projection, and we rest in the simplicity of the moment. We rest in the simplicity of what is. We escape suffering. So these paths, for me, I have an absolute love for yoga. And of course, Miracles blends in so perfectly to my practice because it's a moment by moment by moment by moment practice. Every moment gives me an opportunity to forgive and to forgive. Every time I forgive, I let go of that concept of guilt and I reduce my suffering. And in return of reducing my suffering, I've changed the world. I've reduced the suffering of the world. That's how it works. That's how it works for me. I'm really glad that for whatever reason I was called back into the study of A Course in Miracles. It feels different this time. There's an energy present that seems to be pulling me along, and I'm simply going with it, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's also coinciding with some further study, a lifetime of study of the Tao Te Ching. Interesting how everything blends together in its own way without me having to make distinctions or point out too often to myself similarities. Just letting everything unfold exactly as it is. It's a beautiful way to walk through life, my friends. So with that, hey, we'll be back tomorrow and we'll talk whatever comes up. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.